Hari Om. Welcome. It's so wonderful again to be with the Manatv International's great audience. We're glad you're here for some Hatha Yoga and the Yoga the Union series. Today we're going to be covering warm-ups while standing up. And Parvati, Savannah, is going to demonstrate, and I'm Jayadeva. I'll be explaining a little bit as we go along. If you're doing this with us at home, just make sure you only do what's comfortable for you. Don't overdo anything. Thank you. So we're going to loosen up a little. Please just shake each leg loose. Then swing the hips around, making a big circle with the midsection. Stretch it out as you go around, one direction for a while. And then go the other direction. Now shrug the shoulder blades. Free up the back, the shoulders, the neck. Go the other direction with the shrugs. And shake the arms loose, the wrists, the fingers. You might open and close the fists a few times. Now stretch the jaw around every which way. Loosening the neck, shoulders some more. And now we're going to loosen up the lower back some. So the feet pretty close together. And begin to hinge forward, pressing the tailbone back, bringing the chest forward, and just come down to about 90 degrees. If you want, you can put the left hand on the thigh, but stretch the right arm forward and stretch long, stretch out long, the hands, the whole right side stretching. Now let that right arm down and stretch the left side out, nice and long. And as you stretch the hand forward, you push the tailbone back. Now bring both arms out front. And as you continue to lengthen through the spine, continue to hinge down. Let the belly come in toward the thighs. And when you hang down, now Parvati's hands hit the ground. Don't be concerned if yours don't. Pump the legs a few times, back and forth. Pushing into one heel, then the other, loosening up not just the legs and stretching them out, but also releasing the hips and lower back some. Now, flatten both legs. Don't forget to breathe. You might take hold of the feet with your hands. If you want to massage in between the toes, that's a really nice thing to do. And then hold on to the feet. Put your hands, fingers underneath the toes or grab the big toe and lift your shoulders up high, stretching out the arms, stretching out the shoulders. And let yourself come down. And for a moment, just look at the floor. And as you're breathing, stretch your face a little closer down, still releasing the lower back. Now take hold of the ankles. And you can pull the elbows back. And if you're pretty limber, you'll find it's very nice to put the forearms behind the calves and squeeze in as you take a few extra deep breaths. And Parvati's very limber and she's reached over to take the opposite ankle. If you're that limber, you push the elbows forward. And it gives you a super nice squeeze and release. Massaging the abdominal organs, releasing the lower back. Don't forget to breathe. Now just soften. Let the arms hang. Let the face and neck soften, the back soften. And just take a few breaths softening here. Good, good. Now pushing the tailbone back, stretch the arms out to the sides and come up, nice and tall. Take hold of one wrist and pull up. Shift over to the other wrist and pull up. Beautiful. Now, put the tips of the fingers touching one another and float the arms to the right as you float the hips to the left. The knees are soft, you're pushing through the feet, and your real effort is how far can I push my hips over? Make sure the upper shoulder's pulling back a little rather than rolling forward. And again, breathe into it. The breath will enhance the stretch tremendously. Now gently come all the way up. Take a moment for a breath or two as you get the body centered, and then go to the other side. Arms to the left, press the hips to the right. The way you press the hips is you push into the feet. Again, the upper shoulder pulls back a little rather than rolling forward. And you stretch the hands out long as you breathe into it. Beautiful. Now come up again. And now this time, interlock the fingers. Point up with the index fingers and lift up on the toes. Imagine someone's got hold of the hands and is pulling them up. Feel the sides stretching nicely. And you can turn the palms up, fingers still interlaced. And press up as you pull the shoulders back. Beautiful. Let the heels settle down to the floor and put the hands behind the back of the head now. Now lifting the chin, pull the elbows back and inhale. And tucking the chin as you exhale, squeeze the elbows toward one another in front. Again, head up. Arms back, inhale. Tuck the chin, exhale, squeeze the elbows toward one another. And one last time with that. Head up, arms back, inhale. And as you let the breath flow, let the arms float out to the sides and just stretch straight out to the sides. Now do circles with the arms to loosen the shoulders some. And switch the direction of those circles. Turn the palms up and some more circles. And one more time. Switch the direction. Now let the arms come down and just move the body around. Shift things around, loosen up. You've done a lot of stretching. Very nice. So now, have the feet underneath the hips, not too close together, but the insides of the feet are parallel. The feet aren't angled in or out. And we're going to do the chair pose. So float the hips forward as you bend the knees and keep the chest open. You can bring your hands out front. You should feel this through the calves, ankles, thighs. Buttocks tightened a little bit as you press the hips forward. And you want to sink down a little more if you can, just in case you didn't sink as far as you could. And come up, let the arms release again, shake the legs loose. Very nice, very nice. A few more standing things that you can do that will help loosen up some. This is a balancing exercise. And it's balancing to do it, but even better than that, it works pressure points that will center you so that when you do your balancing poses during your class, during your practice, you'll be more centered, more stable. So, put your weight onto the left foot. You could spread the toes, plant the heel, and slide the right foot back until the tops of the toes are on the floor behind you. Turn the palms forward and pull the shoulders back. And press that right foot down into the floor. Breathe into it, push the foot down, pull the shoulders back. And let go. Let the foot up. Take a moment. Now plant the right foot, and we'll do the other side. Slide the left foot back, tops of the toes on the floor, turn the palms forward, pull the shoulders back, press the foot into the floor. Breathe with it. And release. Very nice. So we can do a few more standing poses perhaps now, which will loosen things up some. There's some hip loosening and spine releasing warm-ups, which are very, very nice. And we're going to do some of those for you now too. So, Parvati, go ahead and stand on the left foot and shake the right leg out again, but this time then bring the knee up high and move it in big circles to loosen up the hip. Get that hip loose. Both directions, yep. And after you've done that, take the foot behind you and grab hold of the foot and reach the left arm up and push the right foot back. This is an asana. This is the Natarajasana, but it's a beautiful stretch to open up with. Gets you beautifully centered, releases the back, stretches so many things, opens the heart for your practice. Come on down. Lovely. Hug the knee if you'd like. Lift it up. Wiggle the ankle loose and down. Here we go. Lift that left knee up and then move it to the side and free it up. Circles. Loosen the hip. Free up the hip. Both directions, yeah. And then take hold of the foot behind you. Push back, pull up. Right arm up, push the foot back, pull up. Open the heart, breathe with it. Push the foot back as you pull up. Plant into the foot on the floor. Nice and centered. And gently down. Hug the knee, lift it up, wiggle the ankle loose, and release. Very nice, very nice. So there's a beautiful release for the spine, which is always great. A lot of these things that we're doing, you'll find once you start doing them, whenever your body needs it, it'll tell you, and you'll just do it wherever you are. It doesn't make any difference how you're dressed or where the situation is. Your body likes to be free, and it'll ask you to free yourself up and loosen things up in lots of circumstances and places. Go ahead and do that. If someone thinks you're weird and asks what you're doing, say, oh, I'm doing some yoga. That's a good message for them. So right now, bring the hands in front of you, turn the palms toward one another, and then grasp the fingers. Your hands are right in the center and your elbows are at shoulder height. Soften the knees, and you're going to pull to the right as you look over the right shoulder several times. Get the body swinging. Get some movement. Swing it to release the spine. Really pull. Let that spine release. You'll feel it. It's sort of like your own little chiropractic treatment. Pull it. Beautiful. Now center. And turn your hands to go the other way. And do the exact same thing to the other side. Soften the knees, turn the head, pull that elbow, pull it. Feel the spine releasing. It's really great. Again, today we're focusing on standing warm-ups. And the warm-ups are useful for your practice because you want the body to be able to do what we explained earlier, the hatha, where you... Why don't we demonstrate it again today? Put your arms in front. And for hatha, you don't pull as hard as you can. You just take hold and gently and steadily pull. And you'll find the arm that you're pulling just releases into the stretch. And it goes so much further than if you pulled really hard up front. Do the other side. Loosen up. So once you've loosened the body like this, using some warm-ups, when you're practicing, you really can practice it as hatha. You go into one of your asanas, and you find that you can just be in it and keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Another thing the warm-ups help with is they help you really get your mind centered and focused. It also aligns the energy channels for you. And that's helpful for your practice as well. We're going to go over a few of the things we did earlier and show you not just how they go, but some of the elements that you might want to particularly do right and what's wrong. Let's start with the chair pose, which is a pose. When they do this instead, they lean the chest forward and push the buttocks back. Now you can bend your knees much further like this, but you can go way down, but it doesn't actually do the work that you're trying to do. Now if you do it the other way, and keep the chest back and push the hips forward, you'll find that you feel the stretch all through the legs and thighs. You really feel that working so beautifully. This is particularly useful to both therapeutically restore the knees if they've been weakened or injured some. Come on up, please. Shake the legs loose. Or to protect them so they won't be injured. It's really a beautiful pose. I encourage you to do this pretty much every day. Get up, wiggle loose. Oh, by the way, a lot of these warm-ups you can do when you first get up in the morning and just loosen the body up. Wake up. Work with your body. Become aware of it, how it feels, what's going on with it. As you go through this, you become conscious of all the different aspects and all the places, and you find out what's loose, what's tight, and you notice everything, and you can care for yourself and care for your body much more effectively once you're aware of what's going on with it. This will help. Okay. Another element we did is to stand on one foot and bring the other foot back for balancing, so go ahead. Now, if you just stand there and don't turn the palms forward or don't pull the shoulders back, you find that the pose isn't doing much. But as soon as you turn the palms forward and spread the chest, pulling the shoulders back, the shoulder blades squeezing in back, you push into the back foot. When you put all those elements together, you wake up to what this is doing for you. And it's even doing more than you realize. It really is hitting pressure points that get you grounded in your center. It's really good to be grounded in your center. We're going to do the other side again, since we're balancing things. But again, if you don't turn the palms forward and you don't press into the foot, it's not doing much. But as soon as you turn the palms forward, pull the shoulders back, spread the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, press into that foot on the floor and back, you find that a lot's going on. Okay, release. So we're going to do something else. And we touched on this a little bit when we were doing the sitting warm-ups. Once again, stretch the arms out and up overhead. Now interlock the fingers. Now notice that you've interlocked the fingers exactly the way you did the first time. Change all your fingers so the other little fingers in front. It's really useful to do this. You can do it alternating each time you do it, or you can do it twice alternating, so you make sure to engage the two hemispheres of the brain. So go ahead, you can turn the palms up, raise up on the toes and push up. It's a completely different feeling, not completely, but it's a different feeling when you change the hands. It's really wonderful. You notice that, oh wait, this feels very different, and the different hemisphere of the brain is engaged by doing that. Another element which is worth it, bring the hands behind the back of the head again, which we do often follow that. When you bring the elbows back and forward again, as you're breathing with it, I've been told by yoga doctors, a doctor and his wife, who are both great yogis, that this is especially useful to avoid getting breast cancer. If you do this regularly, you will not develop breast cancer as you age. It won't happen. It's very useful practice. It has a lot of benefits that you notice right away. But that's also good to know that this is helpful in that way as well. Thank you. So something else useful is making note of the space between the feet. If your feet are close together and you try to do something, it works one way. If they're a little further apart, it works another way. And if they're even further apart, it works another way. So that stretch that we did with the arms out and the fingertips touching, have the feet a little further apart as you do right now, that's fine, and reach up. Last time we had them much closer, and now go ahead and roll the hips to one side and the arms to the other. It's very different when you do it like this than when the feet are closer together. You'll feel the stretch working quite differently. Push the hip over. Still your effort is to press the hip over. You're pushing into the feet to do this, but it works quite differently, the amount of space you have between your feet. And bring the feet a little closer. Another way to work with that same stretch is a dynamic approach where you let your arms swing down and out and your hips move to one side as the arms move to the other, and then come up, let the arms down, and then swing it out and up to the other side, pressing. And you just keep doing this, one after the other, with the movement. It's very nice. The dynamic approach sometimes really helps the body to release and open up more naturally than when you're working one thing and being so engaged mentally with it that it gets kind of stiff. But when you get dynamic with it, it starts to loosen up a little more, and we like our bodies loose. That's really useful for us. When you're going to loosen up the neck by moving the chin in circles, your chin stays out front. The head does not go back. This loosens the neck and shoulders very beautifully. Both directions. Now, here's what not to do. Do this very carefully. That's what you don't do. See the head going way back and crunching the back of the neck? That you can actually injure your neck quite seriously if you do that. Don't do that. Stop it. Thank you for demonstrating. The warm-ups really do serve you beautifully. And again, I'm going to encourage you to learn these things, play with them, have fun with them, and incorporate them into your life as part of what you do during your day. You're standing in line. Why not shake your legs loose? Why not swing the hips around? Loosen up, move the shoulders and free up the shoulder blades. Loosen the neck, the jaw. Why not loosen the body instead of be uptight and stiff? It's so beautiful to do this. And if anyone notices you doing this, it's good for them. You're showing them what we should be doing. We should be relaxed in our bodies and free in our bodies, enjoying them, taking care of them. So, hope you've learned some nice things you can do with your body to loosen things up, to get it warmed up and ready for your day, for your yoga practice, and do these things. Keep it up. The more regularly you do things, the more they impact your body, and your body will change and adapt if you do it regularly. If you do it occasionally, they'll benefit you while you're doing it, but the body doesn't actually make changes. But if you do it regularly, most of the time, at least 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, but at least 4, if you do things like that, the body says, oh, she's doing this again, I've got to make some changes, and it starts to open up and loosen up and really accommodate what you're asking of it. It's really beautiful if you're regular in your practice. And your day will just be flowing so much more beautifully. So next time, we're going to work with Surya Namaskar, salutations to the sun. It's a beautiful series of flowing movement, and we're going to do it in a traditional fashion, and we'll show you several different things you can add to it as well. Thank you for tuning in. Practice your yoga. Blessings. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to knowledge of immortality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.